everyone, and welcome back to Enter the Ether, the podcast all about the upcoming third-person MOBA Ethereal Clash of Souls. I'm your host, the Mangoose. Joining me, as always, is the Molder to my Scully. If the Ethereal truth is out there, this man will find it. It's JellyKnees. How you doing, Jelly?
I'm great, Mangoose. Are you saying that we're the X-Files for Ethereal right now?
Yep, and you're Molder and I'm Scully.
Perfect.
Because
Works
I'm
for me.
Down to earth. You're out there, man.
I love it. I'm a big fan of that one. And so with us this week, we actually have the voice actress for Malaya here with us, and that's Dede. Welcome, Dede.
Thank you so much for having me. I also know I'm in good hands if you guys are making X-Files references. So.
Right on. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the Talos Spotlight, of course, and then we're going to get into some questions for Dede, and we're going to have some fun with that. So stick around, and we're going to be right back after this. I'm just kidding. There's no commercial breaks. So let's get into the Talos overview. Jelly, what did you think of Talos?
I actually surprisingly loved this spotlight more than more about Talos than I guess the spotlight itself. Right, the spotlight felt the same as the others. But going in, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's Talos, whatever. Like, he's going to be the myth that exists. I probably won't play him very much, yada, yada, yada. And then I watched the spotlight, and afterwards, I'm like, yeah, Talos. Like, I'm in. I want to play Talos all the time. I'm going to be a Talos main, 100%. It was incredible. So I loved every second of it. What did you think, Mangoose?
I really liked it. I mentioned it in the video that I haven't done yet, but will probably be out before this comes out. I think his kit is a little self-defeating because you want to, like, he's built on stamina, right? So you want to use your stamina and then use his ult to build stamina back up, and you want to get your ult on as many people as possible. But the way his kit is designed, people are going to automatically spread out because you're going to be doing the radial sever and just his AoE like frontal slash thing that he does. So everybody's going to naturally spread out, which is going to make it almost impossible for him to get more than one person with his ultimate. So I don't know about his kit. He does look like a lot of fun though. So, and you know, we kind of shit on him a little bit for being the least aesthetically pleasing looking of the myths, but he's really growing on me. Like you said, with this spotlight, Talos is really growing on me. He looked absolutely fantastic in the up close with our boy Dan doing his lore in the background there.
Yeah, he looked
Dede,
really
think? Oh, go ahead.
He looked really clean and crisp in that opening section. Something that I think is present in some aspects of the first two spotlights we got, but I think Talos really felt that way across the board in comparison. Dede, what did you think about the Talos spotlight?
Yeah, I kind of agree with he's not maybe the most aesthetically pleasing, but actually seeing him in action, he looks really natural. And I'm actually he kind of grew on me too watching it. I actually really love his little / mighty kick skill there. I think that's really fun. I just thought he looked a lot better in action, you know, finally kind of seeing it come to life. I think he might kind of be a good standard pick for a lot of players if they're looking to get into the game. So
yeah, the mighty kick, mighty uppercut is cool because it's kind of like, this is Sparta, and then they're like, oh, that's it. He's like, nope, pow, off you go.
That's going to be probably one of the most fun abilities to land because it's melee at first and ranged second. I just think it's going to be such a fun little, like, oh, you thought you were getting away? No. Come on back here. It's okay. It's like Grux pull all over again. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I can't wait for this game. I think that's about all I had to say about his spotlight, though.
Yeah, you guys I would agree. Something I want to point out that Mangoose and I talked about in the past that I want to clarify is we mentioned the whole Destiny being put as the game title for the Dante spotlight, I think it was. And Mangoose and I have since both had the same issue that they were claiming to have of random games being attached to the video for no reason. So we want to publicly apologize about that we gave them crap for it. It actually was a YouTube problem. So yeah, we're sorry about that.
I especially apologize because I straight up called people liars. I stood on that hill and defended it, but I was wrong, and I will admit when I was wrong. I was definitely wrong there, so my bad.
It's good of you to say it, though. You know, appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's get into these questions for Dede. So Dede, we always got to know, and we already know this answer. Are you a gamer? Do you play any games?
Yes, I do. I love games. I grew up with games. I'd say my like favorite games of all time are probably the original BioShock. I love
yes, good choice.
Transistor from Supergiant Games. You probably know that because they recently released Hades, so that's the same developer there. And I just really love like horror games and stuff like Amnesia, classic stuff like that. But yeah, I love games. I mean, I can't get enough of them. I recently started streaming, so that's been pretty fun to try and navigate as well. So yeah, I play games all the time, play League, you know, some of that. Not, you know, don't ask me my rank. Not impressed. I started in middle school and well, never quite got out of that, but
I feel
yeah,
that so very much.
But yeah, no, I definitely game, and when this game comes out, I will absolutely be jumping on the bandwagon to do that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Transistor has an amazing soundtrack.
Yes,
if you guys have never played Transistor,
appreciate it's so good. It needs more appreciation.
It's something I've never played, but I've heard the soundtrack because I had some friends like shove it down my throat originally when the game came out. And it's like, okay, it's a soundtrack, incredible. I need to play the game. I just haven't yet.
It's good. It's just a whole game of aesthetic and good narrative. And yeah, Supergiant is definitely one of my favorite studios. And I'm so proud of them for how amazing Hades has gone down with like the reception. So super fun to watch them like succeed so well after being a big fan of Bastion and Transistor and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So kind of the getting into the voice acting part of all of this is, how did you get interested in voice acting? And did you do like other performance arts, musical theater, drama, whatever that means for you?
Oh yeah, all of it, all that whole kit and caboodle. I am severely introverted at heart, but I was 100% a theater kid in, you know, capital quotes, whatever you want to say. When I was young, I've done over like 20 musicals on stage. I mean, I had so much like musical theater experience, and I also did a lot of singing for like weddings and for other things. So I was very much like from day one, we're performing, we're singing, we're dancing. And my brother is actually also a YouTuber. He is also very creative and does a lot of dynamic, I don't know, voices and stuff. So I grew up with him, you know, really sort of, I guess, encouraging that sort of, you know, mentality of like drawing and art. I also do that. So yeah, really just like so far skewed into the performance arts field, like not even funny. Obviously, I don't really do that anymore because of what's happening in the world today.
Right.
So getting into voice acting was sort of like a natural transition. Obviously that started way before this, but you know, when you sing and when you act, it's already sort of in you to do a little bit of voice acting. They're definitely different fields and they definitely require different things, but yeah, it was always, and watching cartoons and anime and all that stuff, you know, very much a penchant for appreciating all of the voice stuff that goes on. So yeah, it was just kind of a natural progression towards that around that sort of age. Middle school, high school sort of is when I was like, maybe I could, you know, get a microphone and start singing and uploading my covers on YouTube or something. And, you know,
I think every singer has that thought process at some point.
Yeah,
100%, because I guarantee I did the same thing in middle school and high school. That I was like, I could just get a microphone and do this.
I could just do it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've never had any thoughts that I can sing, and I've never tried it. So this is between you two.
No, don't get me wrong. I feel like if you're a singer online, you also probably have some of like the worst, like self-deprecating, like self-esteem issues. I'm like, I just have like, I'm like, I could just do this. And then like a day later, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, I'll never be somebody. And then, you know, and then you spend hours like re-listening to one take and you're like, that's just not it. That's just not it, fam.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, even now I'm still like, why I'm just trash. Like, but I'm here. And so, you know, it's and like making natural progression, you really got to look back, especially in these creative endeavors. You got to look back at where you started and where you are today, because then it puts things into perspective a little bit. So
that I get.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an awesome thing to hear you say, right? Of just kind of the examining the position you're in, even though sometimes you have those thoughts of like not being good enough, whatever it might be. But here you are. You're a voice actress that is doing this video game and has plenty of other projects that you've done. And that's incredible. You don't let that stop you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you can't, just because, you know, and I'll say this like so many times, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I really struggle with like self-esteem and like really getting out there and self-promo and all that stuff. And those are, you know, it's important to really get out there online if you want to entertain on the internet. If you want to make content, you have to make it. You know, you can't let those boundaries stop you from doing it. You might not like what you get at first, or you might not like what you get now, you know, like you can always be like not impressed with the stuff you make, but you're still making it. And so, you know, the more you make stuff, the more, you know, it's easier to find things that you can like, because then you can improve on stuff, or then you can buy a new setup, or then you can buy, you know, like it's just one step at a time, and you just have to keep going, because if you stop, you know, it's okay to stop, but if you stop and then you don't continue, that's when it gets pretty sad, because then you might lose something that you used to be passionate about. So just don't stop, you know, or if you're gonna stop, that's okay, because everybody needs breaks, and sometimes you just need a breather, and that's very understandable. But keep going after. If it's something you really want to do, then don't let your doubt stop you, because I really get that, and I really struggle with that too. But you got to keep going, because it's really important.
And we have heard your singing, and it's amazing. It's really good.
Oh boy.
We both sent a message to each other talking about it before we started recording. Like, did you hear her sing? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh geez, that's super nice, guys. That's so sweet. That's really nice. But
and even on Twitter, you were singing in Japanese. Do you know Japanese, or were you just singing?
Oh no, that's just the hidden, like, I watch anime, so I want to learn how to sing this. I don't know if you know what Vocaloid is, but that was a very popular fandom back in the day with like Miku and stuff like that. So a lot of like singers in the fandom and stuff learned how to sort of sing in Japanese, or, you know, they really like a song, so then they sing, learn stuff in different languages. But I did take, you know, some voice lessons with like French and German and Italian, and so Japanese, you know, it's fun to like sort of self-teach, but don't like listen too hard, because I'm sure, you know, there's a whirlwind of mistakes in that accent.
We're gonna hire a vocal coach to critique your performances.
Yeah,
and,
break it down.
She didn't quite say this correctly.
No, not to, you know, nitpick or anything, but actually this whole song is just incorrect. But
she's conveying happy emotions. It's actually a really depressing song. Like,
not even sure if she knows what language she's singing in, but an attempt is made, I guess.
That was really good, though. Okay,
thank you. Very sweet.
Do you watch any anime currently?
I recently watched Demon Slayer.
Excellent. Good one.
Was incredible. I was blown away. I really was. It's kind of been a while since I've watched an anime that I've been like pleasantly surprised about or like interested in. I'm very much still Death Note is the best anime still to this day, and I'll fight you on it sort of person. But I don't know. It was on Netflix, I think, and so I was like, I'll just watch an episode of it, because you know, it's a rainy day, and why not? And I binged that thing in like, I don't know, 2 days or something. So good. The art style.
I thought it was like a bit of a slow build, but like
I agree.
In the middle of it, holy shit! When it gets going, it fires on all cylinders. Really good anime. If you guys have never seen
And you're
Demon Slayer,
the 8th person to say that to me recently. Like I recently watched Demon Slayer, and it's incredible. It's like, okay, fine, I'm in. I'll just watch it.
Forget it.
Right? I'm gonna stop
guys.
resisting and just accept that it's probably really good, and I'll enjoy it.
Well, I'm just surprised because I don't think that would normally be my thing. I like action animes and all that stuff, but I don't know. I saw like the demons and I don't know. I'm like, it just never really hit my radar. I don't know. The demons and the slayers and the no.
And it was
just never
art,
really hit
so
my radar, I guess, is what I was like. I don't really know if I would be interested in this sort of thing. But yeah, I watched one episode and I was like, oh no, because the art style is like so unique and the animation is really good. And it's nice. It's a nice experience. Very pleasantly surprised. So
get on it, Jelly. Get on it.
Apparently, I'll watch it tonight. I'm sorry. Holy crap. By the time this episode comes out, I'll have watched it. Okay. I've got nothing better to do.
The characters are just good, they're very, very likable and have good like motives and depth, which is very appreciated. So yeah, no, it was just good. It was just nice.
I give anybody watching this permission to send me a message on Discord and be like, have you watched it yet? Because
do it, guys.
If I haven't, I will feel very guilt tripped by then.
All right, now that I've took us down that path, let me try and steer this back to where it's supposed to be. So, Dede, is there anything you do in particular to kind of get yourself in the mode to do Malaya?
Malaya is a very, in my personal opinion, complicated character. Her like emotional, I don't know, trauma and like the wide variety of stuff she just feels on like a daily basis. I think she's just very intense. Even if she doesn't always come off that way. I don't necessarily have to get like in a zone for her, but it's always good to really, I think sort of just like the method of in general of like you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm ready to record, and then you kind of plug in the mic and then you get your head, you kind of just go through the motions of setting up, and then you really just kind of zone in on her character, because it does take a lot of like for her, in my opinion, it takes a lot of thought to kind of figure out how she's feeling with her lines, because she can be so intense and then she can be like the complete opposite, very guarded. So I tend to read her lines a lot at first and kind of try and understand where she's coming from there. And then we'll probably say like I'll say the line probably 5 times and I'll record all of it. And then just kind of say, okay, is that like the direction is this sort of the feeling that we're getting from this line or that she maybe feels here? So in regards to prep work, I mean, it's more just kind of like getting in the zone, it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready to record, and we gotta like get in the zone to be like intense and stuff, because she's a pretty emotional character. So
you don't sit down and watch videos of people kicking puppies to get that like sad anger ready to go? Definitely
not. But I also think like with just like being, I don't know, playing video games and stuff and even watching anime, like that is helpful for voice acting, because you see how people can convey character voices, through the screen without, being there. So it is actually kind of helpful to have to experience in or at least just like playing video games and stuff like that, just because character voices are completely different from like commercial voices and from singing and stuff like that. So it's a whole different ballpark for games and like dynamic acting. So I do think stage experience definitely helps in that regard.
I thought honestly you were going to go down a completely different path with you playing video games, like the whole channeling the tilting energy from a video game into Malaya.
When I lose my elo in League, and then
exactly.
I just feel the rage and the salt build up.
You're like, now's the time to record. Where were you when my people burned? Like, oh yeah, 100%. That's where I thought you were going with that, not referencing other people's work.
So funny. Oh well, I'd be a liar if I said I didn't feel some of that salt rage, you know. But if I didn't get it.
I love it. I love everything about it. So for voice acting in general, not necessarily for Malaya, but what's the most like difficult thing you've done for your work?
You know, like in regards to like a specific like game or work that I've done, or just like,
yeah, just like
anything,
what was the hardest either for you to get into character feeling over, or was the just to get the feeling right, whatever that means to you, I think.
Yeah, you know, there was a game that didn't make it sort of out of the door. It actually might still be in the working, so I can't really talk about the like specifics about it, but I was a player character. So I was a character that you would be able to sort of pick your avatar for, so you could choose between like different voices for your little avatar that you play as.
Okay.
And this was definitely the hardest, I think, because there were so many lines where you were like falling while electrocuted, and so I'm like, what? Oh, that's weird. I don't. and I would have to go like and the voice like director was very, very particular about how that he wanted the specific voice types to sound. So I was like the elegant voice type. So I was like, oh wow. But when you're falling elegantly, you're dying. So I'm like, how do I die elegantly? I'm like, like what? No, that's not
how do you
right.
add being electrocuted into that?
Yeah, it's like, how do I be elegant while being electrocuted or whatever?
I was just trying to think of like Princess Peach being electrocuted. Was my thought process for elegantly dying. Like,
yeah, exactly. Slowly floats down with her parasol into the void. So that one was difficult because it was like, I can make dying noises, I can make hurt noises, but how do I keep the sort of sense of like voice archetype that he wants and make it unique? Because everybody can just be like, whoa, you know, when they get hit, but how do you do like elegantly? I don't know. Like I tried, but and like I said, the vocal director had some very, very specific ways he wanted things to sound. So it was sort of one of the first times where he did this with every voice actor and actress would go into a call, and then you'd have to like run down each line, and then they would like stop you and stuff. And yeah, that one was very hard for me. Not mainly, I think, just because I was embarrassed. I was like, okay, now I'm burning, and so this person's listening to me live being like, ah!
The elegant burning.
Yeah, right, exactly. Ah! Yeah, but so it was just like, and then this carries back into the self-esteem sort of thing where I'm like really self-conscious, so I'd like start a line and then I'd be like, never mind, I don't think I know what I'm doing. And he's like, no, that was fine. And I'm like, no, I'll try again.
Aww.
So that one was interesting, but it was I very much value that experience because it's experience, and every like vocal or sound director is going to have a different way of how they approach things, and sometimes it's a lot more freeform, and it's like you record the lines, and if we want you to do some retakes, you can do that, or maybe they want to go in a call and they want to talk through every single line and be like, I think for poison damage number 2, you should give it a different, try. And I'm like, okay, so it is important to really like, diversify how you react, because yeah, every sort of instance will be different. So it's good to know all the different varieties of, people that you interact with and how to make it work. So
yeah, everybody who wants to voice act, you need to bear in mind that you're going to have to do stuff like that.
Practice your elegant dying.
Exactly. Practice your elegant dying. Practice your elegant burning and electrocuted.
Now do arrogant electrocuted.
No, that's it though. And so yeah, but that's what I always say. It's like it's still work, it's still work. And it can get really frustrating, especially if you have to sit there and like redo it. And you're like, I feel like I've done this and I've done the exact same take like 5 times and they all sound the same, but he's like, do it a little different. And so I'm like, okay. And he's like, that one was perfect. And I'm like, that was the exact same thing I did. I will
just
do
a little
it,
different.
But I'll do
just
it.
A little different.
You just thought about it.
I mean, just the little nuances like that. But yeah, I mean, it's still like super rewarding. Obviously, it's such a fun experience, even through the frustration and stuff. But that just comes with voice acting sometimes. But yeah, it's still work, guys. It's fun, but it's still work. Don't forget.
So when you were recording the lines for Malaya, did you do that all in one go, or did you cut it up into segments, or like was it over days or hours? How did that go?
All in one go, always. I can't. I just like doing it all in one go because if I'm feeling something, or if I'm on a roll or whatever, there's like, you hold a specific emotion that day, and you could hold the exact same emotion the next day, but it could still sound different, especially with character voices. So I really, really like to do it all in one go, just because I feel like you can keep that consistency through all of the lines and through all of the moods and stuff like that. And you can still, you can still record the next day if you want to do different ones and stuff like that. But to me, it's just, I don't think it's possible to split it up. Just because it sort of falls back into, then you got to get into the mentality again, and then you got to get into the voice again, so yeah, it would be strange to me to be like, here are her narrator lines, and then tomorrow I will do her attacking lines. It just makes more sense, just with like character voices to sort of try and keep going if you can, just because lots of different emotions and consistency and stuff like that, I think is really valuable if you can do it in one session, for sure.
And to kind of go further on that, because Malaya is probably the most emotional myth we've seen and heard so far, and you doing it all in one take, do you ever take that kind of with you afterwards? Does that stick a little bit, or are you pretty good about being able to just transition out of that kind of feeling?
I personally think, and this might have to do with like stage experience and stuff like that as well, but I personally think when you voice a character, you always put a little bit of yourself in them, or you find some way to relate to them, or you make it your own some way, so though I don't necessarily take those bad emotions or those like really ramped up emotions away with me after I record, I definitely sort of feel it in the moment, or can at least relate to it in the moment. I think especially with Malaya, she's very emotional, very like dressed, very mood swingy. She can be really guarded one moment, and she can be like really aggressive the next. And but I think with like her backstory and stuff like that, it really helps to connect with your character. And if you can, I think it really helps to like sort of put that emotion in there. So I think during it, I can feel it a bit and stuff like that, especially when you can kind of relate to your character, even just a little bit. Sometimes I feel like, my goodness, like I really feel that the world's not always giving me like the easiest time right now. And I definitely think Malaya is sort of a character that really kind of keeps getting knocked down, even if, and she's a complicated character. So, she can do her best and stuff, but there's just a lot that has gone wrong in her life. So, I think we can all relate to that to some extent, where it's like, please give me a break, like, or like, I'm just feeling a lot right now. So, I don't necessarily take it away. I usually, but there are, when I after recording, if I'm listening back and stuff, I'll say like, I think that definitely got like the emotion across, or the genuineness of that is felt, and if I don't feel it is, then I go right back in, because that I think is the most important thing for players and stuff too. You want to feel like your character can feel, So
yeah,
I don't necessarily feel bad after recording her, but I definitely think I relate to her, and sort of in the moment definitely can like get it and relate to her and feel that.
And Malaya's lore is intense. Like, just from what we've gotten so far, like, there's a lot there, and I feel like the way that you've portrayed Malaya's kind of voice and the way that you've done it captures that feeling of her background, making that evident in her personality even years later from those events happening.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, she's a cool character. I mean, she's cool, but yeah, she's gone through a lot. Pretty tragic character. So she's just an interesting, because I feel like she's super like genuine in her emotions, but I also feel like at times when she talks, she's very kind of almost like stilted in a way, depending on her voice lines and stuff. So it's been an interesting like exploration of her character, learning about like what she's been through and like her design and stuff like that. She's really cool. I'm just so excited to voice her. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, you did a great job. Like how tortured she sounds with her voice line for when she kills Exiel, her brother, like in game. Oh, that's so good. It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, but like how? But
Seems like a weird thing to compliment somebody on, but like you sounded really great at killing your fake brother.
Thank you so much. What a compliment. I mean, no.
If I ever get a phone call from the police being like, Dede, she may have done something, I'll be like, listen to this. Does that sound right? Okay, yeah, it was her.
No further questions. Yeah, no, so like I said, she's just like, the chips are down with her a lot, most of the time, I would say. So yeah, that makes me happy though, because I want it to feel genuine, even if it happens in game and it's like a quick thing, if she reacts like that, it's like, oh, they have lore together, they have a story together, that's sad.
Yeah, very cool.
And I saw somebody talking about it in the Discord this week about the character's lore and the way that they play and the way that they sound not matching up in other games. And I think that's a super cool thing that we're seeing with Ethereal, is that they're really trying to make all of these elements come together between the kit, the voice lines, the lore, like everything about it. They're trying to make it one unified substance, which I really like.
I'm so happy to hear that too. And yeah, I think the voice actors, just as an people behind that are doing a really good job with keeping that sort of unification and that consistency. Because I've seen the other some other characters and their voices and stuff. I'm like, they sound how they would look, or they sound how they would, their characters. And yeah, that's super. Also, as like a voice actor, that's such like that is such a compliment to hear. It's like, oh, I'm like so glad that like my voice represents the character properly, that's such a like, oh, that's happy, That makes me happy.
You play a psychopathic killer very well, that's
a tragically damaged hero. Great job.
Exactly. The best compliment you can receive, apparently.
Well, a day's work. Yeah.
So, do you do any impressions of anything?
Don't sound so sad about it.
Oh man.
Well, back in the day, I don't know impressions versus characters, but when I was younger, my whole party trick was whipping out like the Pokemon like voices and then we got into like Mario characters with like Toad and like Princess Peach and stuff like that. So yeah, I do impressions, I guess. Those are the impressions you're talking about.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
So
there
Go ahead.
Many video. No, that's it. Many game characters I will talk in their voices. Actually, when I first started getting into voice acting, I even got into like doing like League of Legends impressions for characters and stuff like that too. But yeah, so it was I do impressions, I guess.
And
I don't know.
A voice pack for Tricolor for League, right?
Yeah, several actually. Very fun project. Because you see all those skins and you're like, it would be nice if they had custom voice lines and stuff like that. So we did some character making unique like character lines for specific skins like Popstar Ari and for like Star Guardian Lux and stuff like that. So I did several of those. I did some Fiora and I did some other stuff too. So yeah, that's kind of one of the first like big projects I got in, and first project with like Try and stuff like that too. And now we're here and it's crazy,
So, I mean, that kind of leads into the next question. Where else can we hear you? Where can we hear your work?
Oh, the self-promo thing. Great.
Yeah.
I do have a YouTube, but I don't really upload a ton on my channel nowadays, just because I'm very busy. But I work with a channel called Man on the Internet, and they're a pretty popular channel. They do a lot of like, they put lyrics to video game soundtracks and sort of make them into musicals, which is very niche, I guess. But that's right up my alley. So it's really fun to be on that channel. So check out Man on the Internet if you'd like. My name is Classicult on there, so I do that. And I also stream nowadays on Twitch at Maiden of Mine. That's my username. Lately I've been doing God knows why, Stardew Valley co-op speedruns with a friend. I don't play Stardew Valley, but I guess we're learning how to speedrun it, sure. And I also want to learn how to speedrun Little Nightmares 2, which is a new game that, a newer game that came out, and that's sort of, I love horror games, so I want to learn speedrun Little Nightmares 2, because that is such a cool game and I want to learn how to speedrun it and break it. But yeah, and then I also just do regular, I don't know, gaming streams like League, if you want to watch me come and play Elo Hello is what I call it. I'm trying to do a support only run through to like, I don't know, platinum.
Godspeed.
We'll see. Godspeed. Indeed, thank you.
That's more frightening than Little Nightmares.
The real horror game right there.
It really is, but yeah. So I do all sorts of stuff. I don't even have like a schedule right now, but it's sort of new. So, but it's been really fun. So Maiden of Mine on Twitch if you'd like to come and hang out. Pretty chill stuff. So it's nice if you just want to hang out and have a nice chill time.
Right on.
Yeah, we'll have that all linked down below for anybody that wants to go check Dede out in all of those places. Man on the Internet, Twitch, her YouTube, the whole 9 yards.
Thank you. That's sweet.
So for Ethereal specifically, being that you play games and are very involved in that, who do you want to play most out of the myths that we know?
Malaya, of course. Malaya or Marina. Maybe I usually tend to stick around the glass cannon / support range. One or the two. I'm definitely not a tank player. I will never be a tank player. Overwatch tried and they failed. Did main diva for a long time, but I very much like supports and glass cannons. But Malaya obviously, has a very special place in my heart, so I really want to get good with her. Maybe I'll one-trick her. I don't know, but it would be cool if the voice actor could actually be good at the character they're playing. So
yeah, that would be cool.
I will try and figure that out and be like competent enough to be acceptable. I don't know. So Malaya for sure. But also just because I really like her kit. I think she's cool. I like assassins and glass cannons, so I think she's neat. And yeah, Marina, just because she has a pretty aesthetic and she's a support character, I think. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing more about her.
See, and that's where you get really good on Malaya. Start joining voice chats with your team, but they don't know who you are, and then act as as Malaya the whole time in chat.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Incredible.
They'd be like, "Excuse me, soundboarding? What's happening here?"
This person's really into Malaya.
Yeah.
Dang, weird. Kind of weird. Kind of sus.
So this is a question we always ask the voice actors. If you could choose any of the other myths that have been released to voice, who would it be? And this, of course, is not a slight on their voice actor or actress, of course. But if you could voice another one, who would you pick?
I think that's so hard just because I just genuinely love Malaya.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think I just like her giant claws that are like the size of her head. And I just I don't know. I think she's cool and I want to be cool, guys. But again, I know this is kind of like I just said I would play her, but Marina, I think she's really pretty and I think it would be fun to play to like voice her. It would be a very different experience. She's very, elegant and
optimistic
and
compared
nice,
to Malaya.
So I think that would be a very fun experience, just because she's just a very lovely character for sure. So that would be a nice experience. But man, they're all so cool. I think like Noxus is really cool and oh, they're just cool. They're just cool characters.
You heard it here, Somni. She's coming for you. She wants Marina now.
No, I think I'll stick with my one trick for now. But yeah, Marina. Man, they're all cool. I don't know. Marina and Noxus, I think are I really like Noxus. That design is really sick in my opinion. That but again, it's hard because I can't, just like you guys, I can't really imagine them with a voice, because I think it's such a good, they all did such a good job, Sarah and Somni and stuff. So yeah, but probably one of those two.
Right on.
Yeah. And another thing we always ask, but is there any advice you would give people looking to get into voice acting?
Again, I think the first thing is if you want to decide if you actually want to do it, because it's really easy to be like, oh man, it'd be so fun to act and shout into a microphone every day and do that, and get paid for it. And it is fun. It is really fun. And but it's not easy, I would say. Everybody can buy a mic and can plug it in and go and do that. So what makes, I think one of the most important things to figure out is, do you want to commit to the sort of grind of accepting that, I'm not gonna be a full-time voice actor, in a day. It takes time. You got to build up your experience and your the people that you talk to and have get like a circle of communication and really get yourself out there. I think just getting into a project is the biggest step you could ever do, because then you'll see what it's like to actually, do it, what it requires, sort of the demands of the job. So check out like sites like Casting Call Club and stuff like that, where you can, people will put up auditions for like their projects, like fan-made projects or paid projects, can be hobby or paid. And they'll like post characters that they want you to voice, and like they'll describe them, and then you can actually send in an audition. And you can see, what's really helpful is you can see other people, their auditions as well, and you can kind of see like, wow, they're really good, or maybe they're not so good, can really sort of get a sense of where you fall, I guess, on what you're looking for and what, how you stack up to the competition, because it's a big industry. So there's definitely tiers of like success, and if you just want to like get into voice acting for a hobby and stuff, that is so cool, and you will absolutely be able to do it. Anybody can do it for sure. It's really just if you want to sort of take those like big steps to get paid and stuff like that, one-off gigs or whatever, awesome, super cool. If you want a more consistent sort of pay grade, then that kind of gets into the okay, I need to kind of invest my time, invest my effort, and just like meet people and figure stuff out. So check out like Casting Call Club. I think that's kind of where I got my start, just to sort of audition and like be a part of like a lot of different projects was really fun and really helpful. So I would do that. I would absolutely, you know, get like a get a mic that is, you can get a USB mic, you're good. You can get a Blue Yeti. People who, you know, there's a reason the Blue Yeti is a popular USB mic. It's because it does the job well. I still use my Blue Yeti, by the way. So that's just a very common mic that sometimes people tend to bash because it's very popular and because but it's great. So just, you know, invest here and there if you want to make it work, because obviously it's not like a cheap hobby. You do need to buy a mic and like buy soundproofing and stuff like that, depending on where you live or, you know, how your lifestyle works. But so just do little things one at a time. You don't have to buy everything outright, you know. Get like a USB mic and start there. Start at a website, find a project you think might be fun. There's a ton of video game like fan dubs or, you know, different stuff like that, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something you are like, that kind of sounds cool, maybe I'll try that, and put your audition in there and see where it goes. If you get rejected and you know, you're like, wow, that's the worst feeling I've ever had. You know, it can be rough. It's not always fun getting rejected, but if it's something you want to do, just keep going. That's seriously biggest advice. If you want to do it, you actually have to like take the steps to do it. It's really easy to just say, I want to do this, and then just to kind of, you know, not do it. But so if you want to do it, start today, or, you know, just do it. Like, it's, you know, there are so many things that you can do that you don't need money for. So it's really just getting out there and auditioning and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Right on. Great advice. Just do it. Just
do
get
it.
out there.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, just do it. We're just
do it.
All right. I think that's about all the questions we had for you, Dede. You've been an absolutely amazing, great guest.
Mm-hmm.
You sound more different from Malaya than I think any of the other voice actresses have sounded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I was actually, that is funny because when I first recorded for her, I had even like like an even more sort of grittier tone with her, and
yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I like that, and so I kind of like actually peeled it back to sound more like me. So I was like, I wonder if she sounds like too much like me. So that's really funny to hear, I guess.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
We just have to make her angry, Mangoose, and then when she yells at us, that'll be Malaya right there.
Grit, and you're like, oh, okay. But no, it's been so fun. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry I talked your ear off.
Don't apologize. It was great. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm introverted, and then I'm like, so Demon Slayer. But yeah, thank you.
Great,
guys. It's been really fun.
So we're gonna do it one more time, Dede. But do you have any last things you want to shamelessly plug, promote?
Just my Twitch, maybe, if you want to come by and hang out. Twitch maiden of mine is my username. So yeah, I'm just really looking to get like a little community on there so we can like hang out and play games and stuff. So if you're, you know, wanna come by, feel free. I will definitely be playing the game when it comes out too. So you can watch me try and play Malaya. So that'll be fun.
Awesome. What about you, Mangoose?
I got nothing. I just got my Talos video that probably went out yesterday if you're watching this today. So
one of those things recording in the past, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I've just got Ethereal GG in the works, still working on the website, updating it all the time. But other than that, that's about it for me this week. Live streams, I guess, actually on Twitch and YouTube. So follow me there. But otherwise, I think that's it.
Right on. It's been a great episode. Dede, amazing guest. JellyKnees, great as always. If like she said, guys, if you want to do some voice acting, just get out there, try it out. Everybody always talks about Casting Call Club. You know, get on that. Check it out. Just see what it is if you really are interested in voice acting. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week, and I hope you guys all join us as we enter the ether.